If you're watching this, that means that Zulu is done with its renovations and open.
This is no longer two-dimensional.
Well, hold on. Okay, look. All right. So, look, cat's out of the bag, right?
Yeah.
So we took down CQB, basically threw in the trash. The telehandler that we used to lift everything was 30,000 pounds.
What were you lifting with the telehandler?
Well, hold on. We're getting into the mud, right? So you take a 10,000 pound machine and run it over dirt. It fucks it up. You take a 30,000 pound machine and run it over dirt. It really fucks it up.
That also somehow has no ass to it.
Oh, the most underpowered machine ever.
And the dirt also, like this property used to be a farm back in the day.
Oh, we know exactly where they kept the animals.
There's 2 spots in CQB that I'm convinced when it rains, it's going to smell like.
So there's years of whatever was going on there. Poop or animals or maybe dead animals.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Zulu 24 podcast. As always, I'm joined by Anthony from Antech Chairsoft Studios and Jordan from Zulu Outdoor. Hi, everybody. How are you?
I'm exhausted.
I, too, am exhausted. I guess if you're watching this, that means that Zulu is done with its renovations and open this weekend, I guess.
We're not saying dates because we don't know when this is coming out.
Yeah, it's kind of pre-recorded, but not really, because it could potentially be this weekend.
It could be.
So we can talk about the renovations.
We
agreed this episode's not coming out until we're 100% certain.
Yeah, I'm 95%.
Yeah,
sure.
So we wanted a really hard launch for the paintball half of the field. So we put the really cool structures for them
because the intro.
Yeah.
We put cool structures there for the paintballers because there's a lot of paintball fields we have to compete with, and that's really the bread.
Yeah, Airsoft's just going to be around African Village and Embassy.
Basically the woods.
Yeah.
All the man-made structures are for the paintballers. Don't
covered in goop.
Don't bite the hand that feeds you. Paintballers are going to pay more money.
Jesus.
We're gonna make them pay for the field paint, and I'm gonna stop working on airsoft guns and just become a paintball pro shop.
Yeah, I don't know if they need techs.
I don't need a really RHOP.
No,
paintball guns or.
No, you just need that fancy Apex barrel.
Yeah, maybe I'll 3D print a something, but.
Out of business. Quick PSA. We learned this yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
No more flying drones at Zulu, or the
FAA will give you a phone call and tell you to fuck off.
Yeah. Yeah, apparently they're dicks.
Yeah, I'm going to get all the right paperwork done so we can continue to do it for social media. But we had the drone in the air for about 5 minutes before the FAA tracked down our phone numbers and called us and said, you need to stop. Yeah.
Yeah, they were.
We're 5 miles from a commercial airport as well as a Air National Guard base. So, yeah, no more flying drones if you are just a player. Even if you have the correct paperwork, there's more paperwork to do.
Yeah, there's a crackdown on it.
Yeah,
recently. And if you want help getting the paperwork, I know exactly who you need to talk to figure that out.
Yeah, I know the 2 pieces of paperwork I need to file.
His name is also Jordan.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious.
Well, basically, the long story short is you need to file a piece of paperwork that then gives you permission to file the correct piece of paperwork to say you can fly the drone there.
Yeah, and the drone itself has to be approved.
Yeah.
Under a certain weight limit, though, you don't need to do that.
Yeah, but long story short, we're going to get all that done so that we can continue to use the drone for filming, but players are no longer going to be allowed to fly drones here.
Yeah. Yeah, they were not nice. We're not nice. They were not having a good day.
The first person I called was apparently sweet as humble pie. The second person basically told me to fuck off.
Yeah. Jordan's like, okay, then.
Yeah, he literally, I told him, I was like, hey, this is so-and-so from this business. We're right around the corner. I was told I needed to call you guys to let you know I'm flying a drone in the area. He's like, cool, do you have this paperwork? I'm like, I have never heard of that paperwork. How do I get that? And he just goes, well, if you're in my airspace, then you need one, and hangs up on me. I'm like, okay.
Fancy. Somebody poo-pooed in his coffee that morning.
Yeah.
So if that was you, eat shit.
Yeah, fuck you.
Yeah. Customer service is always a thing.
I pay your taxes. Or my taxes pay your salary.
Probably not.
You want the government to give you good customer service?
Yeah, no.
No, I want people just to be human.
Yeah, like I was really
fucking human.
And work for the government at the same time?
Yeah, dude, just be fucking human. But anyway, we can talk freely about all the shit we've done.
Where do we want to start?
Let's start up at the mosque.
Very flat, brand new asphalt.
Yeah.
The grass is so nice there right now.
Yeah. We fixed all the roofs. You can go upstairs now. Mm-hmm. Wieners. And then we took all the newer buildings from old CQB.
That were made out of pressure-treated wood.
Pressure treated. And took them apart physically with these two hands and a trailer and a truck. Moved them up to the mosque, and now there's like 11 more buildings up there.
And I took some photos I'll throw on screen. So the mosque is now basically another small little town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dope.
And you have your roofs back, but you're not as safe on those roofs as you once were.
Well, so
There's a lot of angles. It's your teamwork is like required. That's what I love about these renovations. Teamwork is required.
so the
You can't solo it out, John Wick it, and do.
Oh no,
damage.
you're gonna get shot.
It's not going to be like, how many kills did you get? It's going to be like, did you survive? Like,
Yeah, how many times did you die that game?
yeah.
But the follow-on question, because I was standing on the checkpoint side 2-story building, you can see straight through some of those roofs. Some player is going to ask the question of, can you shoot through those roofs, or is there invisible roofs?
Yeah, it's always been a thing. You can always shoot through the invisible roofs because I think it's really lame to sit there and stare at each other. You know, grenades, no, right?
Okay.
But BBs, yeah, man.
Okay.
It's always been that way. Even in the L-shaped buildings prior, you can always shoot up and down. Just because it would be stupid to sit there and be like, yeah, he's on the roof right there, and you're both pointing at each other like, oh, I can't shoot you, but you're right there. It's just lame.
I'm playing devil's advocate.
Yeah.
This is my lore. My lore is this is a war-torn area. There's exposed pockets in the roof where bombs hit, and maybe the roofs aren't that bulletproof, you know? So maybe if you're shooting your Elite Force Glock, you know, maybe 9mm won't penetrate that limestone cement, but if you've got an M240, maybe some 7.62 will.
Sure.
You know?
At what time did you take your meds today?
It's still kicking in.
Okay.
Well, he shot a 240, so that's where the 240 came from. You shot blanks out of a 240.
I did. It was the first time I shot a 240.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, I can't believe it took this long. But seriously, I can't believe it took this long.
Raise your hand if you shot a 240.
I shot a blank 240.
Oh, I thought we were gonna get Jordan on that one.
No, I shot the blank 240 at Benghazi.
It's crazy.
Oh, I forgot we had one. That's right.
What's crazy about like the real light machine guns, or like holding a real M249 or a real M240, you look at it and you're like, you can see where the airsoft gun is slightly nicer in some ways, but then you can see how like the real one is like way more rugged, and airsoft guns really don't live up to it. Like Lambda Defense is maybe the closest as far as like with their Mark 48s.
Yes.
Getting it like somewhat close, but like a real M249, I'm like holding it and I'm looking at all the weld joints and I'm like, this is like a precise gun that works. Like this thing's like welded together. It looks kind of like it's military grade.
Well, yeah, but military grade is not.
Military grade, baby.
It's not the best. I think it's
That's what I say.
Well, it's like 30 days in the field or 90 days in the field or something. It's like,
well, that's the joke.
Yeah.
You go military grade, baby.
Lowest
Whenever something
bidder.
fails, if we have a tent that's leaking, I'm like, military grade, baby.
Yeah.
Put some duct tape on it.
Oh, man.
So the mosque is all put back together.
Now, we took those buildings from CQB and moved them up to the mosque.
We did.
What did we do with CQB?
We turned CQB
Into a mud pit.
Yeah, we did for a little while.
Yeah, fuck the weather.
It was a stinky mud pit.
Yeah.
We weren't joking when we said pray for a drought. We really needed it.
Dude, okay. So back in the long ago when I lived in Florida, my uncle was big into mud bogging. Where
It's
you
like mud skiing.
That
but
sounds like some Florida man shit.
Yeah. It's like, you've seen videos of this. You jack your truck up, put big fucking mud tires on it, and then you try to just drive through mud.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
they call that mudding.
Sure.
Depends on where you live.
Back in the day, we were mud bogging, right? And that was like, I don't know, a lot of fucking mud. This, on the day of my daughter's wedding, this mud pit. Okay, so we had two different machines that we were using, right? So we had the backhoe, weighs about 10,000 pounds. The telehandler that we used to lift everything was 30,000 pounds.
What were you lifting with the telehandler?
Well, hold on. We're
we'll
getting
get
into the
there.
mud, right? So you take a 10,000 pound machine and run it over dirt. It fucks it up. You take a 30,000 pound machine and run it over dirt. It really fucks it up.
That also somehow has no ass to it.
Oh, the most underpowered machine ever.
And the dirt also, like this property used to be a farm back in the day.
Oh, we know exactly where they kept the animals.
There's
Yeah.
2 spots in CQB that I'm convinced when it rains, it's going to smell like shit.
So there's years of whatever was going on there. Poop or animals or maybe dead animals, organic compounds breaking down, going back into nature, the circle of life, and airsoft sweat, blood, and tears.
It's like turning into oil. Like
Yeah.
that's how fucking old it is.
All of it just got mixed up and stirred with some steamy rain.
Like it's
And
raining today, but this is the first time we've had rain in over a week. And there
Yeah.
were still 2 spots in CQB that were wet.
Yeah.
They just wouldn't dry.
And dude, in that telehandler, this thing can lift a house, but it can't move itself. It's got giant mud tires on it. Like, and you're like, oh, this thing's gonna rip through here.
weren't all the tires different?
No, that's on
that's on the X.
that's on the digger.
Yeah.
And like, I'm convinced if the pavement's wet, this thing's fucked. Like, I was so pissed off. There's so much power in this fucking machine, and it's all to lift shit. None of it is to the wheels. None of it. And so you're doing -2 miles an hour because you hit a wet spot while carrying something that weighs 8,000 pounds, and you're like, this fucking blows, dude.
And then you're on the radio going, Jordan, can you come over here, touch a chain and pull my ass out?
Yeah, like, oh, it's so fucking frustrating. But we got it done, and it made mud. The mud was up to my shin.
Yeah.
I mean, it was soupy and gross and smelled like pig shit. It was neat.
But you guys did level it out, and it's not
we
like permanent.
demolished CQB.
The ground is not like permanently fucked. You guys fixed it up really nice.
Yeah, we're still working on
I
some
helped a
spots.
little bit. There were some days I helped, but
By some, you mean 2?
Yeah, like 2 days.
I volunteered my time to just be a part of it a little bit.
I
just
saw
wanted to see what.
I saw one video while I was away where you were helping, and I was like, oh my God, Anthony's helping. And then I came back and I was like, Anthony helped that day.
Yep.
Okay.
You helped that day.
And then you came out one day while we were
It
working
was like
on
at the end of the day, too. No,
Yeah.
you came out when we were moving.
the hacienda. Because there's a video I took of me standing on top of the tallest part of the hacienda and Anthony's in it.
Oh.
That was the day we worked till 8 p.m. and broke our record.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, it was a Friday.
I was still working on guns and doing things.
I was a part of it.
I got to be a little part of it. I got to see it.
Lame.
Milsom.
Yeah, so there was epic amounts of mud.
Yes.
I went and bought remember I started this whole thing and I had my Vans.
Yes.
Yes.
Those disintegrated off of my feet. They were fucking gone.
My hiking shoes are not far behind.
Yeah. And then I bought rubber boots, like
Oh yeah,
like sheep fucker
like the $20 Walmart boot.
rubber boots. Those were the best footwear ever because it was just fucking mud. It was mud for the entire fucking time. It wasn't until the very last like box had been put in place. Like it rained that day. It was basically like a fuck it day. We were like, fuck it, we're gonna try.
Yeah, it was you, Dan, and I, and we're just like, we're gonna do it. Like it's mud. We've been soaked in mud. Fuck it. We only have like 4 or 5 to do. Let's just get it done.
Yeah, let's just get it done. We got it done. And like the next day, the rain stopped and everything started drying out. I was like, you motherfucker, you motherfucker. But yeah, so well,
I think what's really impressive is
We've only said box once.
yeah. Well, look, okay, all right. So I always said keep expectations low. All right, we were closed for a long time, not because we were building. I always use Guardian. You know, we're not building Guardian Center, but what we are doing is we demolished all of CQB, which was another fucking nightmare, and just replaced it all with Conex boxes.
the first day I helped, I was wearing like my shittiest Vans and I like immediately stepped on a nail and like I had cat-like reflexes. The moment it even like touched the bottom of my foot, I was like, ooh. And I was so lucky.
Dude, my tires.
If I was working all day outside and was
your
fatigued
tires.
and stepped on the nail, I wouldn't have had the reflexes to evade that.
We in the beginning while we were dismantling CQB, there was a bunch of like bottom plates to the walls that have just like become one with the ground, but the nails were still there. And so for the first like week, you were just finding nails with your feet or with my truck tires. We patched one tire the same day, like 4 times. There was 4 plugs right next to each other because it was like I ran over 4 nails. Boop.
You got new tires, right?
Afterwards. But every single one of my tires at the end of every day, like when I drove around the field, I didn't have my speedometer up. I had my air pressure, my tire gauges up so that I could see like, oh, that one's got it. You know, like it happened every single day. We got really good at plugging tires. Same thing with the tractors. We plugged the tractors. We have plugged all 4 of the tractor's tires at least once.
Gee.
But I dare to say, I think we plugged my truck's tires 10 times.
Jeez.
All 4 tires had holes in it, but I got new tires after that.
Worth it?
Worse.
For sure.
I look at the current CQB. I don't even know if you can call it CQB anymore. CQB gives me that like urban city vibe, but CQB was just a 2-dimensional.
This is no
Plain.
longer 2-dimensional.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. Okay, look. All right. So, look, cat's out of the bag, right?
Yeah.
So we took down CQB, basically threw it in the trash. Well,
There's
Except
a
for the
giant
newest
pile.
building.
made a big pile of firewood.
Yeah, there's a giant pile. Of wood.
The newest buildings in CQB from like a previous renovation are up at Mosque.
Yes.
And then
And that's not COVID pressure treated wood. It's post.
no, it's pressure. Yeah, it's
post
good.
COVID.
It's good wood.
Yeah.
And then we bought 60 fucking Connex boxes. We bought 40 20s and 20 40s.
Yeah. And 57 of them went to CQB.
57.
Yeah. Because then one of them went to the Zulu Connex that was in staging.
Yep.
And then the other 2, we dragged the trucks out from the hill overlooking Newtown and put 2 40-foot Connex boxes there.
Yeah, give you a little bit of cover coming up from Newtown because it's always kind of a sticking point.
No, where are the trucks that were on the hill?
They are in CQB
I know.
Yeah.
Are those the only trucks in CQB?
for right now.
Yeah, you don't have to ask leading questions.
No,
the shit
okay.
you already know.
For right now, yeah.
There's 4 disabled vehicles
Yeah.
in CQB.
Long
They look
story
cool.
short, I made friends with someone that runs a scrapyard, and he's going to get us cars at some point. He's on vacation right now, and that's low on the priority list.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Priority right now is to get it up and running.
So you just put a bunch of Connex boxes in CQB.
That's it. We did.
Whoop-de-doo.
We just fucking
We didn't
piled
spend
them
a
up.
couple weeks designing building layouts and figuring out what would be really cool and where should go what should go where.
Actually, one of the building designs
Has been in the background.
In the background for like fucking the last 4 podcasts or something.
Except for that's one of the only buildings that we had to call an audible while building it and say, oh, we can't actually make that one because it had an over bridge, like an archway. And we realized that if we wanted to do that for the area that the building was in, the right side Connex would have had to been 5 feet into the ground.
Yeah, because like CQB is not very level. I'm really impressed with the way you guys leveled it. Some of the boxes you dug into the ground, and then for other boxes you're using rocks.
No,
So that was called level from the middle.
level it. Yeah.
Yeah, you I have a laser level, right? And
You didn't like lick your finger and feel it end and
no. Well, the first like 5, yeah.
Yeah, like I came back and I saw the first 5 were in, and I was like, "Oh, those are crooked,"
Yeah, they were pretty bad. But they're just 20 footers and
and they're on the edge.
they're 1 stories and they're never going to be 2 stories. But
They're in the slums.
yeah, they're in the slums. And so yeah, you take a measurement from the center, and then you dig out the high spot and you take that dirt and you put it in the low spot. And the way that we were basically corralling the dirt so that it didn't just fly out was we built rock walls, and then because there was plenty of fucking rocks.
Yeah.
So you take that dirt from here and you put it in the rocks. So, I mean, the rocks are at this point kind of purely decorative. The dirt, it's sitting on dirt.
I just remember the first week we were putting in Connexes. I was like, Dave, we should take all these rocks and build a rock wall. And you're like, the people that built the rock walls that you're thinking about are from hundreds of years ago and far more skilled than you.
Yeah.
About 3 days later, Dave's just like, hey, we should build a rock wall.
Hey,
And
build
base
a
this
rock
one. I was like, motherfucker.
Build a rock wall. Well, because we started realizing just it didn't look that unlevel. Like once CQB was gone and erased, when you looked at just looking at the terrain, you're like, oh, it's not that bad. But then when you're actually taking measurements, you're like, we have to dig down 4 feet.
Yeah.
Like, fuck.
And you're like, how do we cut that in half? Okay, put 2 feet of dirt on this side and dig 2 feet down here.
It's easier to compensate with wood because you just like cut things to length and cut angles. But then when you have a shipping container, that's like
rigid.
It is a rectangular prism and it's going to stay that way.
Yeah. It wants to be that.
Yeah.
But basically now with the layout of CQB, there's 2 main streets and 2 side streets.
And like 2 alleyways that are really cool.
Yeah, those are the side streets I was talking about.
Yeah.
And then in the center, I'm referring to it as the diamond of complex structures. There's 4 complex building layouts that are all within 70 feet of each other.
Oh, yeah.
So CQB has multiple 2-story buildings.
Yep.
And
like 11.
Yeah. Multiple roads.
Yep. Disabled cars in the road, and it looks like it got ambushed. Super sick. And the Connexes have windows and doors cut out. There's some external stairs, and it's awesome. It's not just like the inside of the Connex is the second story. It's like there's parts of the second floors that are just the top of the bottom floor Connex, and there's you guys have the guardrails around.
Yeah, there's like balconies.
You're talking about like the apartment area. So that's that's 2 40-footers on the ground floor and then 2 20-footers on the second floor, but they're offset from each other. So in front of each 20-footer, there's a balcony. Yeah. So it's neat. And then to get through to the other side, you have to walk through the Connex boxes.
So I didn't get to explore it too much, but are there going to be any internal staircases for any of these?
Eventually. Like right now, time and money, right? I had to take out a loan to do all this stuff, and that we're coming to the end of that loan money, right? Yeah, coming to the end of the loan money and the beginning of the payments, right?
Yeah.
And so interior stairs are they're more complicated because you have to cut obviously through the floor, and then you have to cut through the metal, and then through the metal again. So time and money, right? So I'm actually using a contractor to do all the stairs, and he gave me a price, and I said, ouch. And I was like, just exterior stairs for right now. So for right now, yes, exterior stairs. Interior stairs will come in the future.
Yeah.
And that's the great thing about, using the Connex boxes is that it's good bones.
Yeah, because we already talked about future upgrades.
Yeah. I mean, every single 1-story out there could potentially become a 2-story.
Yeah.
Just by throwing a railing up and a set of stairs. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like that blue building right in the center in between the hacienda and the apartments.
Well, it's not going to be blue, but
like right now it's blue because we're not done painting.
Yeah.
Like Dylan and I looked at it and we're like, this looks like the logistics building from Arma.
Yeah.
So it'd be really cool if at some point in time you do have roof access to that building.
Oh yeah. And it's right in the center. It'd be good objective.
Some of the sooner rather than later upgrades that we can talk about though is putting lights in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we already have the lights.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do kind of like street lights. I want it to be lit.
Yeah.
It's a town, right? I want it to be lit. I'm not talking about I don't want it to be lit like
Newtown is.
Yeah, not like stadium lighting. I just want it to
have the vibe of street.
Don't the stadium lights actually?
No, they stop right at the tree line.
So I'm sure with some electrical engineering, we could get lights up there. And I think that when this was a golf course, that was the driving range. Where CQB is a driving range. I think they had lights like every single one of those
because
poles.
There's electrical poles that kind of go through.
Yeah.
But also, let's put in context, it's expensive to run those lights.
Oh yeah.
I also don't want it to be lit like Newtown. No. I want it to be lit like a town.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not a city, but just a town. So, enough light where somebody where you can navigate without, too much trouble.
Yeah.
But not daylight.
Well, it's also because we talked about yesterday, it'd be kind of lame if we did all of that. And then we're like, by the way, guys, we are doing that Friday Night Lights thing, but we're only doing it. Just fuck off.
What a cock tease.
Well, yeah, that would be oh, dude, players would be pissed. Yeah. So to do that, we need to have some kind of lighting up there.
Yeah, there needs to be some light up there.
We've been testing and experimenting along the way, getting different Amazon solar powered lights.
The one I have in front of my shop.
No, Dave got some good ones.
Yeah,
that's basically the one I got. Yeah,
dude, if the solar, they don't use a lot of energy, so the little solar panels that come on them is really adequate, and especially if you only turn them on when you do a night game and they're not just like on at night. They're as long as players don't shoot them.
Yeah, don't shoot
They're
our
gonna be-
fucking lights.
But we can get some like clear, like
Lexan, yeah.
Tupperware bowls or something. Just to
No, dude, you could buy sheets of Lexan on Amazon for like $8.
yeah.
Well, they're going to be so high up.
Yeah, for you to shoot them, you have to be intentionally trying to shoot them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not going to accidentally shoot them.
Yeah.
Don't shoot the lights.
Don't shoot the lights, please.
Like, let us have nice things.
Yeah, please.
The red triangular structure is gone.
Yes.
And CQB has been like just,
it's progressed past
it's
it,
been
yeah.
stretched. So now it's like closer to the Connex Castle. So now the Connex Castle is not this unobtainable thing.
No, the last box is like 15 or 20 feet from
Yeah,
the
it's-
Sonics.
I'm looking at the layout now. Like when I was walking the field before a lot of the windows and doors were kind of cut out, I was just like climbing the Connexes and I was range testing some customer builds I was doing. And I was like, getting a feel. Like, I built this featherweight. Let me just get in some locations and shoot at other spots and just pretend like, what would be effective here. And like the Connex is like, before, your best bet with the Connex is if you can get on top of the hill.
And shoot down.
You needed a gun with range. And, it was like, there's still little windows and there was only a certain angle you can really hit it at. Now it's like, no, man, if you're in that Connex.
If you're in the H building, you can engage the Connex.
Yeah.
Yeah, Connex is part of CQB now.
Yeah.
We got to
the
stop.
other thing
We
too-
have to stop calling it Connex, by the way, because we have
Fortress.
60 other fucking.
So now is the plan now as far as naming the buildings going to be that we give them all a unique name and it confuses new players because they don't know which one is the.
No, but repetition, right? So, I mean, clearly there's already a hacienda. There's the apartments.
You're going to number them?
I am going to number them, yeah.
Number them like a mount site.
I'm going to number them for a couple different reasons. A, so that players can use those numbers. B, so that if there's an emergency on the field, if there's an emergency in CQB, I can say, hey, building 11. And I know that because the fortress is building 1, I know that that's towards the middle of the field. You know what I mean? So if I say building number 50, then I know it's at the far side of the field,
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's CQB is wider
And longer.
and longer now.
Yeah. We went about 25 feet further up the hill. Or no, sorry. It was 25 feet further just in general because now the last building is at the edge of the tree line. There used to be that alleyway there. The buildings now go to that tree line.
Yeah, we took care of all those prickers.
Yeah.
And are you going to do multiple flag points?
Yes.
So before it was church and hospital, and it was on each end of CQB.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now, with that diamond pattern, those complex structures.
I mean, we had talked about it before, all 4 of them having a flag at some point. I don't think it's going to get done before we reopen.
No.
But
I feel like the flag's the easiest thing to do.
yeah,
There's
sure.
when you've walked the road that we have walked.
Well, it's also like we've
I
talked
can get the
about.
flags.
We've talked about a complex flag system. Like Dylan and I.
Yeah.
Here, let me pick your brain on this.
Okay.
So the hacienda, you've been inside of it. It's a giant U-shaped building.
Yep.
But on the second floor, it's got essentially a guard post on each corner.
Yep.
How cool would it be if at some point in time we figure out how to do flags that are lights instead of flipping a flag? So then to flip the flag to your team's color, you have to go to both of those guard posts and flip a junction box to your team's position so that the light turns to your color. So then you have to truly have control of the entire building to take the flag. That would be pretty neat. And the same thing with the 2 40-20 stacks that were supposed to be the other overpass building. 1 in each of them. It'd be cool to have this complex flag system. Time and money. We don't have the time to do it.
Yeah, and
that's going to be pretty expensive to
during the
experiment with.
day, do you think like the lights?
It would have to be a bright enough light to see during the daytime. This is all really cool.
Or, like old school cops, they used to drive their personal vehicles and then they had that light that they put out on top.
It was bright enough
And
for you to see.
Well, no, it had that, it rotated.
Yeah.
So during the day, you could see the difference. It was like blink. It looked like it was blinking almost. You could do something like that. I don't know. That's so far.
But it's freaking awesome. Like you can run ShamWow and CQB in like 4 different ways, probably more.
Yeah, but
like you
it's
can
also
choose
like-
different buildings to be the ShamWow.
Yeah. But when you think about it, it's like the fortress, the diamond shape.
Yeah.
And then either the gas station or the building that overlooks Fuel Depot. There's your 6th flag. You can have 6 flags in CQB. Again, time and money.
I'm just so excited. It's like
It's dope.
the 2D layout is it was awesome when the field opened because it's like it contrasted greatly from the old location of the field and what that CQB was like.
Yeah.
So having a town that had like alleyways instead of just this big
Open
circle of buildings, that was awesome because it was like, okay, clearing rooms, corridors, cool. This is insane. You are not safe.
This has the vibe of a small town.
Well, but
It's like it's the whole thing is kind of like a favela. There's just like second stories and compartments. Somebody can be anywhere.
Yeah.
So
you need teamwork.
the only thing with the old CQB is that we had singular buildings that were complex interiors, right?
Like the hospital,
School,
the jail.
Well, the jail is kind of a joke, but
yeah.
The jail never got used.
yeah, never. That was the
only
most
people that used it.
underutilized fucking building ever. The hotel, things like that. Those were individual buildings that were complex. There aren't really individual structures that are complex. I mean, maybe the apartments you could say are complex, or maybe the hacienda is complex.
The hacienda is now because we made that mistake.
Yeah, that's right. So they're not like crazy complex, but the entirety of CQB now is complex. Like we were standing in one of the 40 footers early on, and the windows had been cut out, and I was just looking around, and I think we all kind of have done this. You look around and you're like, fuck, I can get shot from there. Like there's no safe place to be. Like you're like, oh fuck, man. Like you can literally get shot from anywhere.
I've only found like 2 spots in CQB where you're like, all right, I could like hide here if I needed to. There's like 2 of them, and that's out of 70 structures, give or take.
And how long can you hide there before the jig is up? And also like the buildings that got moved up to mosque, they're all along that tree line.
Yeah.
So when your respawn is at checkpoint and you're walking towards mosque, you're not just like blatantly exposed
Correct.
to CQB.
We've also closed the gap a little bit too
between the nice part
between CQB and the mosque. Like you can engage now.
Yeah.
Like when we were testing your featherweight build, you were able to engage the hillside row of buildings from the 2-story roofs at mosque.
Yeah, from the 2-story roofs of mosque, I can suppress into CQB, not just the closest buildings, but like.
Granted, that's because the vegetation wasn't in yet.
Yeah.
But that closes the gap of BB gun range. Like we have somehow made CQB bigger, but also expanded the engagement range of Airsoft, because a lot of these complex buildings and a lot of these like priority structures are well within Airsoft range.
It's awesome. It's so freaking cool.
When you order 60 Connex boxes in your head, it looks a lot different. But now,
we should
now seeing it like from this picture, you're like, yeah, that's a fuck ton.
Yeah.
But like
it makes me super excited.
Like when we were putting it in, it didn't feel like it was a fuck ton.
It also didn't hit us till about halfway when we were like, oh shit, this is starting to come together.
Oh, dude, was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday we were painting, and I was up on top because we were painting the roofs.
Oh, you were getting giddy.
Well, I got up there and like, a bunch of the boxes had been painted, and I was like, holy fuck, this looks good.
Yeah, and then the Connexes that are moved in between CQB and Newtown, they didn't just like replace the location of the trucks. It's like one after the other. Yeah. So it actually helps you advance into Newtown or advance from Newtown up into the hill. And then that tree line in between CQB and Newtown, you guys put like extra dirt.
We needed somewhere to put the piles of dirt.
Yeah, and it acts as extra cover. So
that it does.
I mean, people in CQB can kind of look down and lay hate in the tree line, but also people in the tree line have this opportunity to kind of
we also
push up and get some cover.
We conveniently placed certain blind spots, like the back of the hacienda has no windows.
Yeah.
So you can approach it from behind.
Yeah. Yep. It's awesome. And then you also fix the roofs in Africa?
Yeah, we fixed those. Yeah. They just look like shit. I wanted to spruce it up a bit. Oh, and then we painted Newtown. That's it. That's
we painted Newtown because we had extra paint. We were bored and didn't have anything else to do that day.
Yeah.
And then the mortar pit's still there. It still looks like a wiener from the satellite image.
Yeah.
Still looks like a wiener.
Oh, and we moved all the rolls of AstroTurf that were just sitting in the open field.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got my field barrier, but at what cost?
The AstroTurf is basically just like it better defines the out of bounds line.
Kind of. It I hate that shit, dude.
Yeah.
If somebody wants some AstroTurf, just go take it.
I think that's how we got AstroTurf.
Just rob us of our AstroTurf, please. I don't care.
It got me like wanting to get a Connex box and do work to it to expand my shop. And
How'd that go?
I've been going down that rabbit hole, man. I'm at a point where there are legitimate companies that will take new shipping containers, insulate it, put HVAC in it, give it power, even running water, and they'll deliver it to your site. They'll hook it up to your water well or septic and your electricity, all of that. It's very expensive. If they're selling one, it's because it's old and it's beat up. Their money comes from leasing it out, making residual income. So I got a quote to rent like a 20-footer mobile office. That was a shipping container. And I was like, I'm not really trying to pay like close to 10 grand a year just to pay for leasing this.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's not so much the reoccurring expense. It is for the sake of expansion, and it will give me the space I need to, do more profit generating things, mainly 3D print form related stuff, more R&D part making stuff. But I'm like, if I'm going to pay the reoccurring expense, I'd rather just do it in the form of a loan, and eventually I'll own it. And if it's a big enough Connex, I can move my whole shop into it. A 40-footer is really big. My shop is not a whole lot of square feet. So I was looking in the 40-footers, and I was like, I could fit my whole shop in there. I can fit like 5 techs in there and a print farm and have everything I need. And then if I ever need to move the shop, I can just pick up the Connex box and put it somewhere else. They're really expensive. And you're either going to do it yourself, which I'm probably going to have to do.
Yeah, the boxes.
Or you're going to lease it. Or if you go online, you'll find a bunch of scam websites, a whole bunch of scam websites, and they'll look very legitimate. But if you give it 30 seconds of scrutiny, you'll start to see like red flags. And I had the weirdest experience. I wasted so much time. I found a website. Their prices were really good, and it looked like they did a really clean job. And if you just look at their website and their claims, they're legitimate. They help a lot of customers. They've been in business for 25 years. So I was looking at it with Tom, and I was like, because Tom does construction, and he was helping me figure out like R value, and because it has to be insulated, no humidity, because 3D printing and stuff. And he's looking at it, and he's like, they're using spray foam, so that's like a good thing if it's closed cell spray foam. And he's just like, why is it so cheap? I was like, I was wondering why it's so cheap too. It was like $7 grand for a insulated 40-foot Connex. The Connex itself was pretty much new. Mm-hmm. All the work was done to it. And the weirdest part was I can add it to my cart, check out with a credit card, and pay $400 to have it shipped from North Carolina to New York, which makes no sense. Because if you were to put a Connex box on a flatbed and drive it 10 hours to New York from North Carolina, $400 doesn't even cover the gas. So it's like, okay, that's a little fishy. And Tom's like, he's looking at it and he's like, I can kind of see a way where maybe it's profitable for them. I don't know. And I was like, I think this might be fake. He's like, yeah, but the website looks pretty legit. And I was like, let's look further. I found a couple typos somewhere. If you go on their About Us page, this is called Fenway Containers. This is the company, Fenway Containers. And there's a bunch just like it. And I'll tell you right now, this is a like CCP, PLA trap to steal money from Americans. These scams exist. Like, the war has begun. Like, China steals money from America in every sly way that it can. And a bunch of other countries do too.
Because communism sucks.
Yeah. It's also an effort to diminish and destroy the U.S. from within. But anyway, so I'm looking at the website. Okay, I'm like, North Carolina. That's weird. That's nowhere near a major port. Where are they getting these shipping containers so cheap? I looked at the address. And there's like a strip mall. There's like an African restaurant. And then their office building, there's no signage on it. It said that
it says for lease.
And you know what I didn't see at all in the satellite image? I didn't see a single fucking shipping container. So I'm like, that's a little fishy. Okay, maybe it's just a consulting building.
I was going to say, because like I help arrange the deal for the Connex boxes.
Right. And
that company doesn't have Connex boxes on hand because they're in North Carolina.
Yeah.
They got all of the Connex boxes for Dave from New Jersey.
So hear me out. They have all these images on their website of the products that they offer. as I'm looking at the address and Tom's doing reverse Google searches of the images, and there's a whole bunch of other websites that have the same exact image, and they're all selling shipping containers at a steal of a price. And it also doesn't, the price differences between the options don't really track. So like a brand new 40 footer would be like $5,000, but then the brand new 40 footer that's insulated has like a radiator and an AC and has power running through it with windows cut out and doors. That's like
It's only,
$7,000.
Yeah, it's only $2,000 more.
It doesn't track. And then comparing that to the 20-foot version, it's like the price differences don't really make sense. And none of these companies let you just add something to the cart and check out. And some of the shipping containers they have, there's check boxes. What do you want? And you're like, okay, yeah, I do want insulation. I do want heat, but it doesn't change the price of the product at all. So I'm like, I should really call these guys. So I called them, and the phone quality was shit. It was like I called the toaster. So it means that they're using one of those apps to redirect a phone call. Now that's not really a red flag. We use that. We use Grasshopper. So like if you call the Zulu number, those phone calls, it's redirecting to like our phones, but our phone numbers are not that number you're calling. So those apps, or I guess those services, will kind of degrade the phone quality a bit. So that wasn't like a huge red flag, but I called them, didn't get anything. After seeing that their address was sketchy, supposedly that became their business address in 2024, but they've been open for 25 years.
Yeah.
And also, I got to mention this, on their About Us page, they mentioned explicitly they don't really want people coming to the site. They don't want visitors. So if you want to go there to check it out yourself, they don't really welcome that. So that's a little weird. So
these all sound like red flags.
At this point, I was like, Tom, I'm so sorry for wasting your time. I guess I'm probably just going to have to build this myself. And,
Well, he's a contractor. He'll build it for you.
We'll see. Talking to legitimate companies, very helpful people on the phone, same conversation. They're like, we really lease. And I was like, I understand. Like that's how you guys make your money. It's leasing these things. But I was like, do you know any companies that do custom builds on these and will do it? And they couldn't really give me that. Like they didn't know, because
it's clearly a profitable business. Because like the gray Connex that we were running Zulu out of, I didn't realize that Dave was paying monthly for that.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't give him an option to buy it even after 10 years of paying for it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It was cheap too. It was like $85 a month.
Which when you think about it, you're like, that's
cheap.
not bad. $85 for a storage rental. But then you realize like,
Yeah.
Dave, you've been paying for that for 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah. And like a brand new 20 footer is probably $2,000.
Yeah.
So it's why I want to buy it instead of renting it. Because if you own it, you own it. Like it's my workshop at the end of the day.
Yeah.
If Airsoft dies, I'm still going to be building shit.
Yeah.
I'm still going to have
it's a
this
Connex.
workshop.
You could throw that shit on a tractor trailer and drive it anywhere.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, Tom, I'm sorry for wasting. He's like, it's okay. Right. I get off the phone with him. Immediately, my phone starts ringing. They call me back. Fenway Containers call me back. I pick up the phone. I'm like, hello? They're like, hey, Fenway Containers. All right. Now, this guy, I can tell he was Chinese. Like, he had a Chinese accent. But his English was really good. Right? But you could
like
still...
English from Wish or like English from Harvard?
English from CCP Harvard.
Okay.
Right? Like, and the guy was so honest. It was the funniest thing ever. I went from disappointed to this being like one of the funniest phone calls of my life. He's like, Fenway Containers. I'm like, really? And he's just like, yeah, you're looking for shipping containers. Or, how can I help you? I was like, this is going to sound really rude. Now, at this point, my mind's made up. I know they're a scam. Like, I know they're a scam. Because then I found a bunch of videos and articles of people talking about all these scam websites. And Fenway was actually mentioned. So I know they're a scam. And I was like, really? I was like, this is going to sound really rude. But like, are you guys a real company? Because I'm looking on your website. I really like the product selection. The prices look way too good to be true. The shipping prices seems way too good to be true. And I was like, did a Google reverse search on the images. Like the stock images are not yours. You're at a strip mall. I don't see any signage. Like I don't see any customer reviews. I was like, but are you a real company? Because I really hope you are. And he was like, and I'm like, I know it sounds rude, but like I've been through the ringer with this so far. Like, are you a real company? And this is his response. Now, when you get scam calls or people try to scam you, the moment you question them or call them out, right? What's normally the response?
No.
Well, they hang up.
They hang up.
Yeah.
Or if it's like Indian scammers, they'll curse you out and be like, fuck you, fuck your mom, and I'm going to kill you and your firstborn child, right? Like the Indians go fucking hard.
Yeah.
But he was like, you have the internet. You can make that discernment for yourself if we are a scam. I cannot disclose that right now. And I'm like,
Yeah, I already did that.
at that point, the veil, both of our veils completely gone. I was like, yeah, I know you're a scam. And then we both just start laughing with each other. I was like, I know it's a scam. Like I know it's not real. And we're laughing. And it was like fucking gotcha. He's like, you got me, that's what it was like. And we're laughing. And then his laughter subsides. He's like, so are you still interested in a shipping container? I'm like, no, I don't want a shipping container. You're a scam. I'm not giving you my money. And then we start laughing again. And I'm laughing. I was like, how do you sleep at night? I'm like, what is this? I'm like, well, you have a good night. Take care.
He's persistent.
Yeah.
I mean, he was like, maybe.
He knew it was a joke. It wasn't him stretching. It was like him, like, this guy had a sense of humor.
So you in?
Dude, that's like the first time we contacted the company about containers. So like when there was a point in time where we didn't know if this was going to happen, and Dave was like, don't get your hopes up. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm a hopeful person. I'm going to do some work in the background. And I found this company where it's like, oh, if you buy in bulk, we'll give you a bigger discount. But their website would only let you do up to 10.
Yeah.
So, of course, the little chat box pops up in the lower right-hand corner of the screen. It's like, hi, can I help you with something? And I'm like, yeah, sure, AI bot. If I wanted to buy more than 10, is there a bigger discount? And somebody actually responds, and they're like, hi, I'm Kelly. Here's my work line. You should call me. Yes, we can absolutely set that up. So I'm like, all right, I'll bite the bullet. Like, we're not even close to saying this is happening yet, but I'll call him. And I call, and she's just like, hi, this is Kelly. And I'm like, hi, we were just talking over that little AI bot chat thing. I need you to like take this 100% serious. I know this is going to sound ridiculous to start. If I wanted to buy 60 shipping containers, how big of a discount? And she's like, oh, well, 60/40s, 60/20s, a mix. And I was like, well, let's start with 60/20s because we didn't know if we could lift 40 footers at that point.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh yeah, no, absolutely. I can get you that quote. Like, I need about a day. And she's just like, if you don't mind me asking, what are you using this for? I was like, again, don't call me crazy. I was like, we're making an airsoft field. And she's like, oh, what's airsoft? And she's like, nice Southern woman. I'm like, you ever heard of paintball? And she's like, oh yeah, I know what paintball is. I was like, that way nerdier, just way worse. I was like, same concept.
Yeah.
She goes, oh, that's really cool. And she goes, yeah, here, let me get your email, your phone number. Sends me a quote. I'm just like, oh, they were fucking legit. I was like, hey, Dave, I got a company you need to talk to.
Yeah, with shipping containers, if there's no prices and you have to call them or email them, that's a good sign.
Yeah.
Like,
well, they had.
it also
prices
means
on their
it's
website.
expensive. Anything that's that expensive and requires that much logistics to make it happen, it's going to be a contact us for a quote.
Yeah.
Which
also reminds me, she did say she wanted to see photos. We should send her some photos.
Yeah, I called her. Shout out to Kelly from Evian. Fantastic customer service. She would like call and just be like, "Hey, how's it going?" I would just joke with her and be like, "Yeah, can you make the rain stop?" Like,
Yeah.
Fantastic. We should send her photos.
and they were delivering those like clockwork.
Well, they set up the delivery like fantastically. Because she had said to me at one point,
Shout out to Michelle from Twin Towing.
yeah, I was gonna say, because she had said to me, she's like, okay, I went back with my boss and we got you the lowest possible shipping rate we could. And I'm like, that's fantastic. Lower the better.
If that was the lowest, dude, holy fuck, $24,000 to fucking ship.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But
fuck.
No, she did a great job. And it was funny because I said it the other day, as you're leaving the field, there's the overpass right before you turn on to 300. There's 2 Connex boxes on the left side of the road at whatever that like yard is. And they're the same red 20 footers that we got. And there's a giant blue sticker on the side that says Evian containers.
Evian.
I'm like, I know where you got those.
Yeah.
So they're sourcing shipping containers from wherever they can find them.
They're like
Yeah.
a broker.
They're like a broker,
Yeah, they're like
yeah.
a broker.
Yeah.
Which is great because then they can source from whoever's closest to you, right?
Right.
So we got ours from Elizabeth, New Jersey. I think it's, like as the crow flies, it's like 60 miles. So
Yeah. Because
Not
even
too bad.
then, the delivery drivers, I think they had said it only took them like 2 hours to get here.
yeah, it wasn't bad. And they were great, man. Yeah. So I had like the first delivery, I think we got 20s and we didn't know shit. We didn't know fuck all about how to lift these things. I mean, we had the machine to do it and I had it like an idea.
And we had chains and tires.
Yeah, I bought the tires that go on the Connex boxes, which worth their weight in gold. Like
Well, it's
we could
funny.
not have done this without those.
You prop a Connex box up and put it on all 4 of those tires. It starts to look like a Matchbox car.
Yeah.
It's like take your Pinewood Derby wood block when you were a Boy Scout and
Just
don't
put
do
wheels on it.
anything on it.
Just
Just
put
keep that wood block and put wheels on it. That's what this looked
The
like.
first prototype of the Kia Soul.
Yeah, exactly.
But then we learned really quickly, don't use 4 tires, just use 2 because then you could actually turn it.
Yeah.
Like by the time we got the last ones up, we were fucking pros. We had figured out like how to chain them up.
Shout
like,
out to Dan.
Oh, Dan the man.
Dan the rigger.
I wanted
He
to
was
just
rigging
like
them all.
help him move the chains, and I realized that was no help because he fucking got
He
it.
knew everything to
Yeah.
do, yeah. But we like it was literally the last day I was like, I'm gonna just try to so we were putting wheels on one side of the Connex box and then chaining the other side and then lifting with the telehandler and like pulling it like a trailer.
Yeah.
But then, we started to run into, we have so many boxes there that there's no room to turn around. So I was like, fuck it. I'm just going to,
Fortress was already built.
yeah. So I'm going to try to push it up as opposed to pulling it up. Holy fuck. That's the way to do it. That's the way we should have been doing it from day one.
Yeah.
You can steer it so much. It's so intuitive and so much easier because the Fortress was already there. So, and there was a Fortress and some idiot named Dave dug a foxhole. Like
Right there.
Right in front. So you had to thread the needle every time you went up in the mud, and like the underpowered piece of shit fucking telehandler's like crab walking sideways because it slips on its own.
And then I have to put the backhoe on the hill, attach the chain to either the box or the telehandler,
And
back
yank.
up. Yeah, it's fucking sketch.
One of the foxholes has dirt in it now. Is that the one that like
2 of them
always
do.
floods? Or those the
No.
ones that always flood?
That was the one that was closest to where the dirt I was moving needed to go away.
Yeah.
That,
Nobody really uses the foxholes.
no, yeah.
Well,
it doesn't
so
fucking matter.
like we realized too now, even the top row of foxholes on the very top of the hill, the apartments look down into them.
yeah,
So
it's,
they're useless now.
Yeah.
Unless we were going to go out there and fill more sandbags and
Well,
stack them 2 rows high.
Yeah, well, maybe sandbags is cool. And then maybe like if you're going down into
Sandbags are
CQB,
cool, but I'm not fucking filling.
yeah, he's never filled sandbags.
I
Yeah.
built a berm.
You built a berm. Dave and I dug the mortar pit. That was an entire day of sandbags. Fuck you.
Yeah,
I guess going down into CQB, maybe it's
yeah. We don't know how this is going to play.
Yeah. Dylan had an interesting idea where you take, because like we cut doors and windows out of every Connex, and that fucking sucked. How many discs do you think we went through?
yeah. But didn't you have a plasma cutter that was super
Don't
quick?
use a plasma cutter.
The plasma cutter was slower than using an
No,
angle
it's not even
grinder.
that. The plasma cutter.
Because the air compressor.
Well, but also you're melting the metal, so it's way more jagged. So the time you save by cutting the door and window with the plasma cutter, you have now doubled the amount of time to sand it.
Gotcha.
Gotcha. So it's easier to
Yeah.
just use the cutting disc.
The cutting disc is the way to go.
It melted a jacket of mine, melted 2 pairs of gloves, and melted my shoes.
Yeah,
But Dylan's idea was to take some of those pieces of metal and build bunkers around the foxholes.
no, absolutely not. Those, dude, the amount of safeguarding you would have to do.
Oh, yeah. And I looked at him. I was like, this sounds cool. This sounds like a pretty neat idea.
What'd you do with all that scrap metal?
It's made into a pile right
Just
now.
it's just a pile.
You could totally do it. It would take hours to do one because you would have to sand every corner flat. It would have to be so safe that you could run full speed into it and not cut yourself in half. Because mind you, like it's still steel. Like I was cutting the second floor window out of the H building and the window fell out down. And I have the video. I look out going, oh my God, I hope no one was there. That would have decapitated something.
That was like a legitimate fear of mine. So
Steel
there
that's
was-
that thin does not have to be that sharp to cut you.
no, it can be dull as fuck. Yeah.
yeah.
It's only 1/8 inch. I mean, even now, like we have plans to wrap the windows and doors with wood, right? Again, time and money. So we sanded the fuck out of them. And actually, when you paint them as well, like the paint fills the micro voids, and it's even smoother now. I mean, you're not going to cut yourself by running your finger across it.
No.
However, if you're running full tilt and you trip and you fall into the side of a doorway, you're going to get fucking hurt. It's 1/8 inch steel. Like it's still just 1/8 inch steel.
Airsoft is an outdoor game. There's competence required. There's waivers.
But to be fair,
it's
there's plenty of other fields that have used Connex boxes,
mature
done the
fun.
exact same thing that we did. And they've been like that for years.
Sure. And I wouldn't open back up if I thought it was
Unsafe.
inherently unsafe.
Yeah.
I mean, airsoft in general is inherently unsafe, but if I thought it was a danger, I would not open back up.
Yeah.
You can literally run your hand over it. Like when I was sanding with the sanding disc, when I was done, I would take my hand without a glove on and like run it over to make sure.
And then I started going back over every window with a piece of sandpaper because it made it even smoother.
Yeah. You went back with like 120 or whatever.
Yeah.
But
it worked well.
But dude, we got to talk about Hearing Pro.
Oh yeah. Okay. So now, by the time this comes out, the video where we talk about you just need to wear hearing protection will have already come out. Now you understand why.
Yeah, everything's metal now.
Everything's, dude, EG67s without ear pro made my ears ring. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm not being a bitch. I'm just saying, like, we threw an EG67 in a Connex box we were standing in and we're like, fuck, you need hearing protection.
Yeah, dude. Oh, dude, could you imagine? Remember those? We set off those IWA 4-bangers in there.
Dude, no, those are like,
Those will make you shit your pants.
it is deceptive how loud they are. If you just throw them out in the open, it's loud and you're like, that's cool.
Yeah.
But they're thermobaric, where like EGs and Tag-ins aren't.
Tags have some ass.
They
to 'em.
do have
So like,
some ass.
there's a couple places around here that carry IWAs.
What does
now.
that mean for it to be thermobaric?
Thermo,
Yeah.
and then it's
using overpressure.
It's thermally
Okay.
barracked.
Okay.
Duh. No, but there's definitely an overpressure. There's more of an overpressure feeling with those for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
It was the progression. You're like, hey, I got these. You want to test them out? Sure. Threw it outside. It was fine. We go in the Connex castle. We're in one room. We throw it in another room and we hear it and we're like, that's pretty loud. All right, let's do it in the same room. And he threw it, and these are like 9-bangers. So it's like bang, bang, bang. So it just keeps going. Yeah. And like we were in there and he threw it thinking it was like fine, right? When you're in the room with it in the Connex box, right?
it's
like
violent.
my eyeballs vibrated and there was like blood pooling in my skull.
So-
it was so concussive.
That progression you're talking about.
We walked out like, what the fuck?
Could you imagine? You're like, hi, it's my first day of Airsoft. I'm going to rent a gun and a mask, and I'm going to go in this metal building to protect. Bow, 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 bow.
Yeah.
You're just like shitting your pants coming out. Like eyes are bleeding.
Those are great.
Fuck.
Those are great grenades to use as like for a mortar mechanic for like the impacts.
Maybe. I don't know. Jesus. But yeah, everything in CQB is now metal, so everything reverberates. So everything's intensified in CQB. So yeah, hearing protection is strongly recommended. I'm not going to make it required, but strongly recommended.
Yeah. If you're behind, behind the wall that's getting shot, it's metal. It's loud.
Yeah,
and I
it's
think
loud.
that's really cool.
Fights are going to sound fucking cool as fuck.
And like when you're getting shot at, you'll really want to like.
But like that progression you're
back a
talking
little
about there, we did that again because I got those blank fire Thunderbees. And out here, it's like, it's not bad. So Dave's like, let's go throw it in comparison to an EG67.
Yeah.
We throw it in the next room over, we're like, that's pretty loud.
Yeah.
We throw it in the room we're in, we're like, that's still fucking loud. Holy shit. Even Dan said, he's like, yeah, hearing protection. Even him. Dan, the boss unit user that doesn't like hearing protection, he bought a pair of the SIG earbuds. Is like, I need these now.
Dude, boss units, that's another thing. We need to be extra careful with other people in the room.
Yeah.
I noticed that too at the AMS game at Guardian. You just got to be a little bit more cognizant about who's around, you know? I mean,
Well, that, but also to throw Dan under the bus. He's the one that like 4 or 5 weeks ago when I made the joke, I'm like, no, Dave told me to like stop using God mode. He's like, no, you're going to have to take it away from me. I'm never going to do that. Dave, if you make a rule that says no God mode, like I'm going to break that rule. And you're just looking going, well, you're going to have to follow the rules. You work here.
yeah.
Dan looked at me like 2 or 3 days ago and he's like, yeah, I understand that now. Like it should not be using God mode in CQB. That's fucking nuts.
Is Dan going to start using BBs?
Yes, he got a Smoky Wolf.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, dude, it's loud.
It's intense. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fucking intense.
Like
so you
day
just have
one,
to be.
like even me looking at this as a ref's perspective, like when I'm reffing, I'm wearing hearing protection now. I started doing it towards the end before we closed, like just walk around with my SIG earbuds in just to be safe. In there, like, no, I'm wearing hearing protection when I'm reffing.
It's so cool, man. Like, and also the buildings are not going to catch fire because they're metal.
No. We talked about setting one of the trucks on fire as a joke.
There won't be like 8-foot tall weeds growing inside the buildings.
Yeah.
Because they're basically
Won't be any grass for the next year.
Yeah. So we can't
We
tell
turned
people to
all
go
that
touch
dirt.
grass. It's like,
No, you can on the hill or in Newtown or at the mosque, but you can't touch grass in CQB.
not for now. And then also like smoke grenades are going to get super important.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to become really, really important.
Snipers and LMGs are going to have a good time.
So speaking of LMGs, we didn't talk about it in the update video. The 3 to 5 round burst rule down the 3 main lanes.
Well, so obviously 3 main lanes doesn't apply anymore. But it's still 3 to 5 round burst.
Yeah. But
you can't just go ripping.
So then CQB, if you're an LMG guy,
3 to 5 round burst.
50-foot med, absolutely, no matter what.
Yep.
Or across the whole field. And then if you're in CQB at all,
3 to 5 round.
3 to 5 round burst. But if I'm on top of mosque and I'm shooting off the roof of mosque, I can do straight up full auto.
Yeah, because of distance and
I want to talk about this because you brought this up the other day, and I never considered this. So I was like, I'm doing my featherweight. I'm like, I'm going to do 3 selector positions. I'm going to have semi, burst, and full auto. And Dave's like, you can't go burst. I'm like, it's an LMG.
Yeah.
He's like, well, burst is
uncontrolled full auto.
Uncontrolled full auto. What if the burst is interruptible?
Well, that would just be full auto.
Well, like if I hold it, it does the burst, but I can interrupt the burst by letting go of the trigger.
Oh, so you're saying like you get 2 rounds out.
Is it really a burst at that point?
Yes, I've seen
is.
some guns have that setting where it's like you have the burst setting, but you have to have the trigger pulled for the entire duration of the burst, so it just cuts off after the 3rd round.
I'm going to say no burst fire.
Yeah. Full auto though. Full auto or semi-auto.
Full auto, you have to be in control of your weapon.
Yeah.
Right. And I understand what you're saying. I just don't want to get in the weeds with somebody out there who's going to be like, oh, but they said this type of burst.
Well,
I just don't want to get in the weeds.
Because I never thought of it that way,
Yeah.
and I feel like it was never really brought up until you mentioned that to me. So like, the idea is if you have burst and it's not interruptible, if you let go of the trigger and it continues its burst, you don't have control over the weapon.
Correct.
And that's super valid point.
Yeah, and you had a full round burst. Somebody could have a 7 or 10 round burst.
You can set it to like a 20.
Yeah, right. So
yeah.
So you're shooting at somebody with your burst, their eye pro falls off, and now you can't stop your gun from shooting. You know what I mean? You're not in control of your weapon. So that's why I don't like it.
Yeah.
That's why it's a no-go.
It's very getting into the weeds there, but it makes a lot of sense.
But a chopped saw that can go semi and full auto, that's okay.
Yeah.
You think it would be a problem though? Like, do you think it would cause issues if like a dude with the saw was clearing rooms on semi-auto?
I already said this is going to cause a problem.
But do you think it would though?
Yes.
No, well,
If it's an LMG, but it can
If
go
it's a green
semi-auto.
tag.
Yeah, green tag.
if it's a green tag and you can go semi-auto, then you need to be in semi-auto. Then yeah,
The
man.
reason why I say this is going to cause a problem is because I've done this and it's caused a problem.
Where here?
Here, I used to have a Stoner 63 that was chopped. It had a 10.5-inch barrel. And this is like 2017, 2018. And probably somewhere I can pull up the helmet camera footage. I remember specifically it was a Moss game. Tyler was reffing. I was playing. Come into a room with the 63 on semi, blast 2 dudes in the room, immediately flick it to full auto and start shooting out of the L-shaped building to fuel depot. The dudes that I smoked then went to Tyler and complained I shot them point blank on full auto. The only thing that literally, to this day, I remember Tyler going, were you wearing your contour? Yes. Pulled my SD card, pulled my laptop out, in staging, showed these 2 dudes. They were still pissed. And then they went home angry. And this was like 2017, 2018.
They were still pissed.
They were still pissed because they're like, that's fucking stupid. It shouldn't have a selector switch.
But it does.
It does. But even in that moment, a Stoner 63, which comes out of the box with a selector switch, I was able to do that and 2 dudes got mad. Now,
The thing is, none of that
airsoft gun control can't hurt you, but
that wasn't against the rules though.
it wasn't. But that's why I'm saying you having a featherweight.
They were butthurt because they got shot and they needed to find an excuse to make you in the wrong.
Yeah.
Well,
But you with a featherweight that has a 9-inch barrel and a chopped off gas mask stock with a selector switch now,
It is hideous. But
it's not
It
that
is
it's hideous. It's beautiful in a
so
hideous way.
beautifully
It's the
cursed.
fact that it's going to become a trend and it's going to become a thing. Much like the taking the M27 and putting the 416 upper became a thing.
I don't know, man. You know how much work it takes to chop
I understand that.
featherweight?
But it's when,
it all boils down to this. Don't be a fucking dick.
yeah, a lot
That's
of
what it
airsoft
boils down
to
to.
be don't be a
Those
fucking
guys
dick.
that went home angry though, you know what that reminds me of? So my 8-year-old son, kids are learning the way of life. You know, the child's sin is forgotten, right? And you know, you gotta you walk your kids through their things and your kid's gonna be wrong and they don't know how to navigate their emotions and all this stuff. and you got to like help him figure it out. He was playing with his friend.
Yeah.
They're doing soccer. Not really playing soccer though. Now my son plays on a soccer team, so he's kind of accustomed to the rules a little bit. But he's just like kicking the ball around with his friend.
Yeah.
And my son's making all these rules. Now all these rules really work in his favor.
Yeah, of course.
All right.
Oh, that's what kids do.
And then his friend suggested a rule that was like, oh, well, you have to hit it within this narrow thing. And it made it more challenging. And my son was just not having that at all. And he got mad. He was like, you're banned from soccer and and all this stuff. Now, what conversation do you have with your kid then? Do you look at your kid and do you go like, oh, just be nice, try to play nice, or like, oh, it's okay. And oh, no, I'm just like, look, kiddo, it looks like you're very happy when the rules help you win. But if it makes it any challenging for you and there's a chance you can lose, you tend to not like that. And I'm like, that's not good, man. I was like, you like having friends? He's like, yeah. I'm like, well, you got to stop doing that if you want to keep your friends. You know, you guys are not playing soccer. You're kicking a ball around.
Yes.
Make up whatever rules. I was like, you do not like losing. I was like, it's okay.
Nope.
I'm like,
Correct. But at
Nobody
what
likes
point
it.
does it turn
I'm like, it's okay to lose. I'm like, it's okay for it to be challenging. It's okay. Like, it's okay. Just play with your friends. It's not a big deal.
like black and white? This makes sense.
Airsofters.
What you're applying this to is 100% on there. What I'm getting at is what's the progression of this? Like, this is going to continue down a road where, like we saw with the M27s, all of a sudden it was 416 uppers but it says M27. Now we have a 249 with a side folding gas stock and a 10-inch barrel and a selector switch. What's the progression here?
The progression is that I have to make another fucking rule because people can't just be people. And I have to say, okay, all support weapons have to be longer than fucking 28 inches or some shit. And I hate that. Like, great.
it's
Now the
turning
refs
into
have
gun
to.
control.
Now the refs have to fucking. Now the refs have to carry fucking measuring tapes. But this could all be like, you can have that gun. Just don't be a dick with it. Like, that's
an
it.
LMG
Just
is
don't
defined
be
as
dick.
an LMG is defined. Part of its definition includes the ability to shoulder it. So if we don't have a stock on it, but instead have like a pistol brace, that means it's not meant to be shouldered, which means it doesn't fall under the regulation of having to be 26 inches in length.
It's a
It's not
submachine
an
gun now.
LMG. It's just an other. It's an other
it's
MG.
fucking
It's an OMG.
Yeah.
It's an oh my god.
Just don't be a dick with it and you'll be fine. Just don't be a dick. That's bottom line. But we don't even know how new CQB is going to play. Watch it plays horrendous. It's just awful. Nobody ever goes in there.
I don't think that's
They're
possible.
just like, fuck that.
I think a lot of the potential for it down the road for future renovations is, right now the Connex boxes on the inside are all bare, and seeing how things play out, it might dictate like, oh, maybe we can put a wall in.
Yeah, so like
one
with
of these.
the 40-foot boxes, it makes sense to be able to do internal rooms. And we
Yeah.
kind of already looked because inside of all of them, they have the tie down points on the ceiling and on the floor.
Yep.
You can make walls that attach to those. On the 20-footer, basically all you're doing is making 10-foot by 8-foot rooms.
It's not usable.
Yeah, it's kind of lame. The 40-footers, though, you have some room to play in there.
Well, there's some 20-footers that are side by side.
Yeah,
So
you're
maybe
talking
in
like the
one-
logistics building.
Maybe in one of those.
It still doesn't make sense. You're still only dealing with 20 by.
It
Yeah.
also doesn't help
I don't
that
think
some of these,
every-
we cut the doorway
Yeah,
directly.
I don't think
in the
every
center.
Connex needs to have walls in it. But
No.
I guess seeing how certain things play out, it might be like maybe it's just better if this one does have this.
Yeah, like we already looked. The apartments would be nice if it, like the back Connex has.
Well, if it's an apartment, right? You got
Yeah.
to make them New York City apartments, right? You need closets with the bed in it.
well, you need an apartment that's only 300 square feet. Yeah. So it would make-
$3,000 a month.
Yeah, it would make sense for that to be split in half and have an internal wall. Same thing with like the 40-foot, 20-foot stacks. Those, if they had an internal wall, would be pretty cool at some point in time, but not right now.
Yeah. We're going to see how it plays out.
In the same way we talked about having shutters on a percentage of the building so the staff could unlock and open them and then relock them. Not so that the players could fuck with them, but so then the staff the day of could be like, hey, we're going to open this one or close this one and lock it in place so you change the dynamic.
Man, in a perfect world, like, I like the idea that every set of windows has shutters and players can manipulate them. I think that's awesome. I know it would get lame really quick because, again, people can't
not be dicks.
Yeah.
Well, we
As
also
in
talked about
lame, as in people are gonna.
they're going to open it 4 inches and shoot through it.
That, or they're going to open it, shoot, and then immediately shut it, and then wait for, and then open it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What if there's a way?
Like there's a reason why Milson West in their rule set says don't manipulate doors and windows. If you're going to open it, it has to stay open.
What if there's some type of way we can do it where it's either completely open or completely closed?
Yes,
Well,
it would have to be on a spring.
Or a
what-
magnet or whatever.
Or if it hinges up so that like you can't really just open it 4 inches and like get under there.
Alex had that idea. We'd also talked about doing a way where the shutters were the flags.
And then also gravity always wants it to go down.
Yeah. We'd also talked about a way where the shutters would be the flag. So like imagine the hacienda, the middle window on the second floor. On the inside, one door is painted red, one door is painted blue. You open your team's respective color all the way to say you're in control of the building. Shit like that.
A piece of wood with like fishing magnets on it.
Yeah.
And the magnets are positioned to where like if you tried to
Yeah.
push it, so you only have like a sliver to stick your gun out of, right? Like the magnets are not positioned in a place where it can actually hold.
There would probably have
And
to
it'll
be
just
some
fall.
kind of
They'll just put their barrel in.
kind of like how a car
Barrel will hold it.
kind of like a car hood though. There would have to be something to lock it in place once it's open.
No,
Well, no, I'm not saying to like permanently
just-
lock it. I'm
I
saying
know.
like if it's a shutter that's going to have enough weight to close itself if you don't open it all the way, there has to be a point where like it latches open.
I just hate that we have to like think about everything from the lowest common denominator,
Yeah.
dude. We always have to think about the shit turd that's just going to game the game. It would be neat if it would be awesome if every door had a door,
Right,
and
but
every
we know
window
that's
had
not gonna
shutters,
work.
but idiots like to kick doors, and other
Ideally-
idiots like to hide behind doors. So then when idiot 1 kicks door and idiot 2's hiding behind door, and idiot 2 gets smashed in the face
Yeah.
by door. And guess what? We know they're going to kick them, so we're going to build the doors really fucking tough. And when the doors are really tough, they're really heavy. So when they get kicked by idiot number 1, a really heavy door because of idiot number 1 smashes idiot number 2, and then we can't have nice things.
What if
why-
it's like a really
Well, that's why I said I see a future where windows have shutters and doors have curtains.
what if it's a door that's like it's on a hinge, but it's like a clear sheet of
No, it doesn't matter.
and like
'Cause then-
what
'cause then-
holds it together is like just a magnet. Because like that's the coolest thing with these shipping containers is like magnets, like fishing magnets can really come in handy
Yeah.
with putting some cool stuff in there.
There might be some special events where we manufacture some type of door system that can be breached or you know.
Even like those little lights you were talking about, like
Yeah.
if those were magnetic and you can move them around,
dude.
depending on the
Well, like
event.
I told Dave, I still have from Benghazi 2 magnetic GoPro mounts. So I could literally just take a GoPro and magnetize it to the top of any Connex box and just hit record.
Yeah.
Which is dope. It's going to make for some cool footage, but shit like that, yeah, we really still have to think about the fact that some people are stupid and they're going to do the wrong thing.
Yeah.
So before we had only those 2 stories at mosque. So now that we have all these other 2 stories, what's the good word on shooting directly up and shooting directly down? We don't have that 10-foot fence as reference.
Well, it's partially that. And some of these some of the second floors are only like 5 feet off the ground.
It's
It's more so the angle than the distance.
we made that rule because of
And 5 feet is absolutely not that far down at all.
no.
Like 6 feet ain't so far down.
No.
That's like 72 inches.
Yep.
Like imagine you're approaching the edge, and as you get to the edge and you look down,
It's okay because I'll hold you now.
yeah, and like you look down. I mean, think of it like
Oh God, Anthony. You
If
just you
it's-
take a joke and you just beat the fuck out of it. Like you just beat it. That like nobody's even understanding what the fuck you're talking. Hold me now.
but the ones that do get it,
Yeah, I got it
it's
instantly.
it's for the
Jeez.
real ones that do
Fucking
get it.
Christ. We made that rule because of one thing that happened fucking 8 years ago that's never happened since. And I don't think it's a problem.
I think because we talked about this at one point when we were building the buildings. That only happened because that person wasn't wearing any kind of hat, any kind of headgear. They were just wearing.
It didn't even cause injury.
No, they were just wearing a pair of iPro and the BB went through the top.
Yeah, it didn't even hit the person. It
No.
just rattled around and it. I don't know. It now here's the
catch.
the false logic, right? So did it not happen again because of that rule, or did it not happen again because it's like 1 in a fucking million? We don't know, but I think it doesn't benefit you to lean out of a window
And shoot.
and shoot straight down.
Yeah, And that's what I also really like about this layout.
And the
Like,
chances are, if you
Forget
range-
sticking your body out and aiming down.
You're not
right.
gonna-
Even if you just expose your face and you don't, and you don't break the threshold of the wall. Like you're still super exposed.
Yeah.
That's also why it's like, even if you were to lean your fucking body over the railing of one of these buildings to shoot straight down, I'd say it's a 1 in a million shot that the person's going to be directly underneath you as opposed to on an angle.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're talking the possibility of you going, oh, I should look over the edge. And there's a dude right fucking there. He's going to be there, or he's going to be over there. It's not going to be directly below you.
Or his 20 buddies behind him have
He's
already
gonna
shot
shoot
you.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't think it's going to be as big of an issue as we think it's
no,
gonna be.
I don't think it is.
Yeah.
So that's something that would change because there's some rule changes from what I heard.
Yeah.
And I think you also talked about the standards of upholding those rules are going to be more.
Yeah, we didn't talk
serious.
about that.
Yeah. We're
not just leveling up the field.
We're
also-
leveling up the player base too.
Yeah.
And so definitely the weekend that we open back up,
Hardcore.
if you fuck up, you're going home. Like that's it, dude. We're not going to sit here and baby grown ass adults about who hit who with their magical fucking toy gun. We're just not. If you show your ass, you're gone. I don't care. Like go home, come back another weekend, try again. Everything. Dead rags. Dead rags are fucking mandatory.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care that you play at this other field. I don't care that you're too cool for school and you don't fucking, but I do that. I have to play at Milson West. Fantastic. When you're at Milson West, put your dead rag away. Well, but when you're fucking here, dead rags are a goddamn mandatory. This chaps my ass, dude. They are a piece of safety equipment.
Yes.
That's why they're blaze fucking orange, right? I'm out. Boom. Take your dead rag out. Are you still getting shot? Yes. Do you have your dead rag out? No. Pull your fucking dead rag out. Like we're playing a game. I don't care what you think you're doing in your head. I don't care that you're training for the boogaloo that you're never going to fight in anyway. Take your fucking dead rag out. Dead rag's mandatory. iPro, same thing, dude. Don't bring bullshit iPro. Stop buying those stupid Evike fucking masks that are shaped like skulls. You look stupid, and the lenses aren't rated. It even says right at the bottom, fucking not intended for airsoft use.
So if somebody takes their iPro off, it's not like a warning. It's like
No, you're done for the day, dude. And this is all. I'm going to say all this during the first safety brief. When we get back. There's no room for error anymore. Like you can't be dumb and play this sport. Look, Zulu has a large enough player base where I'm okay with telling people to kick rocks, man. Like if you're an asshole, peace out. If you're not playing the game by our rules, get out. Go play somewhere else, dude. Like I'm fucking done, man. We put all this time and money and work into this place to make a badass fucking field, and then you're going to come and shit all over it by not following our rules. Fuck you, get out. We are going to be strict. We're going to be strict with all the rules, everything.
I agree.
Yeah. I mean, it should have been, it should always be like that. And we are fairly strict, but we definitely hey man, next time don't do that. Or, hey, calm down. There's no reason to yell at each other.
I'm guilty of it. We talked about it on a previous episode where I watched a dude with a red tag smoke someone from 25 feet away. And I sat down and had a verbal conversation with him explaining why that was wrong. But I also let him continue to play and said, if I catch you doing it again, then we have a bigger problem. Now it has to be, I just watched you do that. Get off the fucking field.
Yeah, you're done. Like I
do not pass go. Do not.
We're not babysitting 40-year-old men anymore. Like it's crazy. Also, if you have a red tag, like you have a social responsibility to be smarter than the average bear, and so we should hold you to a higher standard too. You know what I mean? Like that's why we're doing the DMR roll.
Do tell.
So we're introducing another chrono tag. So we have for standard open play, we have our green, the blue, and then the red, right? And the red tag was always anything over 400 to 500 with a .25, had to be semi-locked, or bolt action. Well, it's too easy when you have something that feels like an M4, works like an M4, to accidentally shoot people up close. So we made the DMR rule, right? So the DMR is 400 to 450. Again, semi-locked. But anything from 451 to 500, that's reserved for bolt actions only. Still 100-foot med, but the trade-off is that you can go semi. And honestly, realistically, like what's 50 FPS, difference?
Yeah.
But
it's a safety thing, but a balancing thing. Because like with the LMGs, you have to have a feed tray. So now if you're going to have a high velocity, quote unquote, semi-auto gun, you have a cap, and that cap is 450. The trade-off being if you want to go that 451 to 500, you have to go to a bolt action only.
Yeah.
Now it makes it more advantageous to have a bolt action. And if you have a semi-auto gun, we've just restricted you a little bit.
Yeah.
it needs to happen.
Yeah.
It's just too easy.
Like we talked about, AMS did away with semi-auto high FPS guns for a little while. They only just came back to it, and they did adjust the rules accordingly.
Yeah.
But there needs to be, like, again, green tags, you're limited. Blue tags, you have the 10-foot med in exchange. You now get a little bit more FPS. Now there needs to be something to balance the semi-auto red tag guns, and that's going to be moving them to their own category and lowering the velocity a little bit. So no more 595 FPS Polar Star M16s. 495 FPS Polar Star M16s, because I've seen that far too much too.
Yeah, and it's silly. People have this idea that like they need to shoot really fucking hard in order for people to call their hits.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say we're going to see a a progression of players going to they need a green tag gun now, just because of the engagement distances and CQB.
This field is not miles long. I have only ever played here with a green tag. Well, besides the Knobber's gun. And it is more than enough.
It's super advantageous to have a green tag.
Yeah, dude. There's no thinking.
Yeah. If I see you, I can shoot you. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's the only other rule change we got. That's not going into effect till after Blood Diamond, though, only because I know people have already set their shit up for Blood Diamond.
Yeah.
And I don't want to fuck them on that. So it'll be, is that Memorial Day weekend?
Blood Diamond is May 24th. The following weekend is May 31st and June 1st.
That didn't answer any of my question.
I don't know when. I don't know when Memorial
dates.
Day. Yeah.
Is that Memorial Day? Well, 7 plus 2 is 6. So
Memorial Day weekend. Yeah, Blood Diamond's Memorial Day weekend.
All right. Yeah. So after Memorial Day weekend, that'll go into effect. It'll just be an orange tag. It'll be like a in-betweener.
Are you gonna make a concerted effort to like always have smokes?
That is on the okay.
Money and time.
I don't like Enola Gay smokes.
I don't like them either.
They cause fires. They're not that great. They're overpriced.
Do they still cause fires?
Yeah.
Has anybody told them that?
Yes.
What did they say? Did they just gaslight you?
They're
Yeah.
non-toxic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he did say that. We were at West Point for Op Ralph, and the EG guy was there, and we were all using sport smokes because they work and they don't cause fires. And he had said something about, oh, it's non-toxic and all this stuff. I was like, yeah, but the fire that shoots out is pretty toxic. And he just kind of like brushed me off. But EG products are fine. I don't trust them. I'll probably never trust them.
So to be fair, it's been a while since we saw one cause a fire in the way that we're referring to. We should test it again.
It used to be that when you threw that smoke, if it hit something hard enough, it was guaranteed to catch fire.
Yeah, we had it in our safety brief.
Yeah, video.
For a long time, people thought that EGs were banned here. I was like, no, we just stopped selling them because they start fires. And the most ironic thing ever is Enola Gay came out with a fire starter, and it looks just like the fucking. I was like,
it's their smoke grenade without the smoke.
They're like shake and throw against a wall, and you got a fire.
Part of their process for producing them is before they put it in the box, they smack it on a piece of metal.
Like EMR. EMR is a sports smoke only field. Like they do not allow it for the same reasons.
Yeah. The problem
the unfortunate part is that the last time I talked to Sports Smoke, they were like, I was trying to order some, and they're like, well, we had a warehouse fire.
Oh my God.
Can you imagine the smoke coming out of that?
And the prices have only went up on sports smokes.
Yeah, and everything else, but
yeah. But like EG smokes are still in that like $12 to $15 price point. When the small sports smoke starts to encroach on $20, like fuck, that's
I don't think they're that high. But my argument would be that the small sports smokes
is really good.
Actually fucking work.
Yeah.
Like it's in my opinion, it's a bigger cloud of smoke than like the big EGs.
Yeah.
And then the big sport smokes that burn for like fucking 5 minutes.
Yep.
I mean, you smoke this whole place out.
Yeah.
What are those smokes that look like the green?
Oh, the tag smokes.
Those are tags.
Yeah. The problem with those,
Those are hot too.
they're hot, but they also had a pretty good failure rate. And when they failed, it wasn't like, oh, it just didn't go off. I have the video somewhere. As soon as you let the spoon go, it explodes like an R2B.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
What's that? Operation Eldest Son in Vietnam, where they would sabotage the ammo.
Oh, yeah.
Get wrecked.
Yeah, because Tyler Erico got drone footage of that. Like a player went to throw one of the tag smokes, and as soon as it gets here, you see it explode.
Oh,
Yeah. So potential failures.
But did it explode in a big cloud of smoke?
No, it exploded like an R2B or an AFG6.
Fuck.
It's like, did you forget which you were making and accidentally put the grenade?
They put the wrong label on it.
Yeah, did you accidentally put a grenade in there? But that also wasn't the only time I heard about it. I'd seen multiple videos online of that happening to people using them.
Yeah. That's happened with EGs too. I've seen
Oh, yeah.
people get burned pretty badly, actually.
holy guacamole!
Yeah.
But smoke grenades are going to be really cool here.
They are. It's going to be neat. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to get back open, get some things going, do some mill some days, get some Friday night under the lights that go in.
Yeah.
It'll be neat.
This is so cool.
It's going to be
I'm so excited to play. Like I really am. I think I got stale with the field layout as it was. I think a lot of people probably
Everybody
felt that
did.
way too.
Yeah. There's some people that still loved playing in CQB, and I get it. For the like 1 or 2 games I would play, it was fun to go in there for 5-10 minutes. Somebody did say recently, though, they're like, it was kind of the same thing, though. You would clear out CQB, go all the way up to the other end of it, and you're like, all right, this was cool.
Yeah.
We took it. Now that's pretty much
Yeah, there was never like a protracted, unless it was the game, unless
Yeah.
the game was in CQB, but like for full field, there was never any protracted like battles happening.
Yeah, like
in
every now
CQB.
and then maybe you'd turn around and be like, oh, fuck, there's 2 players from the other team behind us. Now with CQB that big, it's like, yeah, good luck.
And then like doing Milsim days, having really long games,
Yes.
you know, doing more complex objectives using newly done parts of the field, I think will be pretty interesting. Because like if you're just doing an hour-long full field game, and let's say you do like the pilot game where he has like objectives in his pocket.
Yeah.
If you put too many objectives in it, like CQB is going to take a while to take.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Well,
going to take a while to take. Like you need
It's also going to be
need a
exponentially harder to hold it. Like
Yeah.
you could take it with maybe 15 dudes, sure. Holding it's going to be a different story.
you need 15 dudes that can systematically go building to building
Yeah.
and not get stagnated. Because once you get in there, if you stagnate, you can so easily get overwhelmed from the
And bogged
back.
down. Yeah.
So it's like, it's so cool.
It's going to be a fun time.
So freaking cool. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I was
No, you're fine.
casually sending a text.
You were on TikTok.
Yeah, that's all I got.
That's all I got.
Yeah. You know what time it is, Anthony?
Is it normie?
I actually had it ready.
What do we got today, Jordan?
I have a good one.
We're getting so good at that.
This is from Spotify because comments are now turned on Spotify.
Really?
Yes. This is from Mr. Taylor. Are you a normie if your friends make up code names for each other, more specifically trying to copy stupid/insulting Air Force call signs?
Ooh.
Like
So I'm a big proponent, and this was true in the military too.
like Natalie.
No,
Natalie.
you can call me Maverick.
Oh, okay. So all right. So no. But
Well, that's Navy.
Well, it doesn't matter. But look.
You'd expect that from Navy.
Well, look.
Shut the fuck up.
Look. The largest thing about call signs is that you are never allowed to give yourself a call sign.
Yes.
Because if you're like, oh, I'm Reaper or I'm fucking the Angel of Death. You know what I mean?
Task Force Toxic.
Yeah, like you just can't, because nobody's going to give themselves like, oh, I'm Goober, call me Goober. Like, no.
That's why Squanto is a stupid call sign, because I gave myself that when I put the feather in my hat.
Squanto.
This is another prime example of if Anthony did it, it's a normie action.
Yep.
Like you have to,
I am a recovered normie.
and it's usually like your call sign is usually based off something you don't like. like or falling into an open septic tank or something. Like it's a negative. It's always a fucking negative, dude. It's never cool. Real call signs are never like,
they're not what you see in them.
Yeah, we gave him that call sign because he single-handedly killed 12 dudes. It's not like that. It's like
Tony Nubs.
Yeah, exactly. Because you cut your fucking
Anthony's
finger
a bitch who got PTSD from a table saw.
Yeah.
Jordan, do you have a call sign? I don't think you really have.
Jordina.
I was going to not say it because I don't want players to think it's cool to call me that.
And
It's
Dave,
okay if you call
Dave,
it
what's
Jordan.
your call sign?
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah. Oh, Hollywood. You don't want to talk about that?
I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it, because it's very prolific in all of the branch. Like there was as soon as Hollywood started making movies in the military, there was always a Hollywood. There's a lineage of generational Hollywoods, right? Like every generation of new soldier, sailor, Marine, airman, whatever the fuck. I can't help that I just look pretty. Yeah. And they called me that because a couple of reasons. But
Now, when you got into Zulu back at the old location, how did that call sign somehow get
There's still like 2 people that call him that.
right? But like, how did they learn that was your call sign? You got that in the Marines.
yeah, because
So you must have went there with the patch.
not at all.
Who did you tell?
Not at all.
Who did you tell your call
not.
sign to?
No.
You must have thought it was cool at some point.
No, so it's CJ.
Dave was once a normie airsofter.
No.
Yeah, I used high caps and yeah.
Oh, we did find a video recently of Dave playing in 2011 using high caps.
Yeah, I did, sure. It had to have been CJ. Yeah. Well, you could go full auto back then.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a video of Dave playing at HVA when HVA was here.
Yep.
Full Marpat, high caps.
Yep. Going full auto with my SR
It looked like an SR10.
to SR10,
Yeah.
yeah. No, it had to have been CJ, my buddy CJ, and then it just went from there. And there was a pretty lengthy time where people just called me that, and I would cringe every fucking time, and it just stuck. And then it wasn't until I got blacklisted from HVA for going to play at Zulu that I like escaped it. And then some of the guys that were working here when it was HVA, like they started to come to Zulu and they started calling me Hollywood. So then it like transitioned over, and I started to just not respond to it, just to try to kill it. And yeah, there's like 2 people.
There's still like 2 people that still religiously use it.
To this day,
it makes my skin crawl.
I remember one time this guy, and
terrible.
we both know who this guy is, right? I remember this is back when I was reffing. He was being a little bit of a schmuck, and I was like, "Hey, man, like just chill out, stop getting worked up." And like he looked at me, and he was like, "Oh, but I'm really good friends with Hollywood.
Oh,
Me and him go back.
I love
exactly.
when people do that.
You know exactly who this is. He has, he has
No.
engravings in his gearbox shell.
Oh, yeah.
yeah. I hate it. I hate everything about it.
Mine is not that reason. Mine is just there's like 5 people on this planet. I will let them call me that. If there's anyone else, I will. No, absolutely not.
And the 500 that are going to watch this, it's okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No.
Next time you see Jordan,
Everybody calls me Tony Nubs.
Tony knows.
Yeah. No.
So is it normie? So no, I don't think it's normie in a group of human male people.
But was the question that they
question-
give themselves the call sign?
Yes.
Oh,
Like, I'm going to call myself Maverick.
Yes. Are you a normie if your friends make up code names and for each other, and more specifically trying to copy stupid / insulting
no,
Air
for
Force?
each other.
Make it for each other. But it is a little
The funny
bit
part is I
normie.
responded to that comment and I said, this sounds like episode 41 material.
It is a little bit normie, though, if like they're not bullying each other. Like, it is bullying.
Well, it's like what Tyler and I say all the time. If we're not fucking with you, then we're not friends.
Yeah.
If we're
Yeah.
fucking with you hardcore, that means we like you.
So yeah, I guess it depends on like if you're just like, guys, we're meeting up. I picture the Step Brothers. Guys, we're meeting up and we're giving ourselves call signs. You can call me
Knights of the Round.
You can call me Tyrannosaurus Rex or like Velociraptor.
So yeah, I think if you're doing it yourself, normie. If your friends make up a stupid or insulting call sign for you because you accidentally chopped your fingers off or used to act like a fucking girl, yeah, sure, that's fine. That's squared away. But
you're playing with them. You're playing with some guy, right? You're in a firefight. You lose your group. Now you're with this one guy. He lost his group. And you're like, all right, let's try to regroup. He's like, yeah. 1 second. This is Maverick. We got to go and hit down. We got tangos going everywhere. It's getting pretty serious down here. We need backup.
Oh my God, I have a follow-on question to this. They go hand in hand. I have a follow-on. So
it's like there's Jimmy and then there's Maverick, and they're two different people.
Normie action, make up your own call sign, but is it a normie action to say tango down after you shoot someone?
In any language?
In any language, sure.
I'm going to say yeah.
Sometimes I'll say there's tangos.
We're playing Airsoft.
I don't think I've ever.
It's less syllables than enemy players.
It's not less syllables.
I always say bad guys.
No, bad guys is like.
I always say bad
there's
guys.
bad guys. What if we're the bad guys?
Are we the baddies?
Yeah. Are we just here for oil?
Oil or gold? Which one? We're here for one of them.
Yeah. Or you're women.
Because those two usually go hand in hand. Like someone that gives themselves a call sign also probably says tango down.
Bragovi.
I know. As soon as I said it and you brought up the other language, I was like, fuck.
Bag of beans.
Bag of beans.
Bag of beans.
Yeah, I don't. Again,
is it normie?
Is it normie? Yeah. Is it normie at an open play?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to say yeah. I don't think I've ever said maybe like tango down. Maybe I've said it like that, right?
We've said it ironically.
But if I'm always like, oh, he's down.
Or got one.
Yeah, he's down or
he's dead.
Yeah. I watched this anime.
Bad guy.
I watched this anime with my wife and kid. My Hero Academia.
I've watched it.
All right. And they have like hero names. All right. And I don't know, them calling each other by there's an episode where they're deciding their name. They're just like, I'm Froppy. It's just like, and then they all call like Froppy, and they're all serious about it. And like, that's what it kind of reminds me of.
Yeah. Yeah. Ugh, I don't even.
It's like
watch
cartoon-landish. It's like
you just can't give yourself a call sign.
I'm a water type Pokemon.
Yeah. Like you're always going to give yourself.
I like long walks on the beach.
You're always going to give yourself a way better call sign than you deserve. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah, and that transcends Airsoft too. Oh. That's just life.
Yeah.
Anything that's self-proclaimed is kind of cringe in some sense. Like I'll never say I'm the best tech. You'll never hear me say that.
I just heard you say it.
But you'll never hear me
soundbite it, clip it.
You'll never hear me proclaim it. Like because
yeah.
Except for when I clip it in the intro where it's just Anthony saying, I'm the best tech.
It's kind of funny. So
yeah, and then the comments are like, man, he's so freaking narcissistic.
Charges $1,000 to work on a G&G.
I could just he's the best.
I could just picture like walking out on the field, like, yeah, I'm the best airsofter here. I have the best gun on the whole field right now. Yeah. You know who is like, man, I used to play with somebody who was like that. And I won't say their name. They don't play anymore, but I really enjoyed playing with.
Was he like 7 feet tall?
No.
Okay.
I really enjoyed playing with this person because I liked the style at which they played. They wanted to do everything super militaristic, right? Like super, like if we're going to do this, we're going to do it this way. And I liked that. It was fun to like be part of that LARP, but he was so full of his dude. He literally was just like, look, shoot my gun. It's the best type of I can't say the name. I can't say the type of gun.
I know
because,
exactly who you're talking about.
Because he religiously only ran this type of gun. And he was like, this is the best one you'll ever shoot. And I shot it and it was the worst one I had ever shot ever in my whole life. And I was just like, oh yeah, okay, man. Like, yeah, that's good. But he would say shit like that all the time. No, man, you do it. I do it this way because it's the best way. And I'm the best at doing this. You'll never meet anybody who can't do it better than I am.
Yeah,
You're like, okay, can you stop talking now and let's go to the objective? Because like, that's where I have my fun is because I enjoyed the way he played. But he was incredibly full of himself.
A funny story for that off air.
Yeah. I don't know. Throughout my life, I've been humbled so many times in so many ways. And I've been at so many points throughout my life from being a child to an adult. I've had moments of arrogance, moments of cockiness, overconfidence where I thought I was the shit. And when you get humbled, it's like you cannot feel comfortable boasting yourself up and talking to somebody like, look, little man, like, I know what's up, you know?
Yeah.
I see that in YouTube comments all the time on my videos, you know?
Yeah.
Guys like, I'm going to give you a cheat code. Use this barrel, that bucking, and this hop-up chamber, and there's nothing ever that is going to be better than that. You're welcome.
That's like any,
You know?
that's like any fitness influencer on Instagram that tells you you're going to have abs if you just work for 30 days. No, fuck you.
Well, that's not even that. It's like, that's just a scam.
Yeah.
You know, but like the need to hype yourself up. It's like they're telling you, but really it's like they're trying to affirm it to themselves.
It's the opposite of confidence.
Yeah.
It's literally the opposite of confidence. Confidence is saying, yeah, I could probably do that.
Yeah.
Give it a shot.
I think like,
Give it a good old college try.
Yeah, man.
I think when airsofters do that with their call sign, it's like, it's a game. There's definitely a huge part of them that's not really serious about it. But like through one's effort to play that game, you can see through the cracks a little bit into their soul.
Yeah.
You know, like what call sign they choose.
Raptor Man.
Yeah. Like if I've made mine Stark, why is yours Stark? Like, oh, I really believe I'm Tony Stark. Like, I think I'm like a super genius. You know, like if I made that my call sign, like unironically, you know, you'd be like, this guy really thinks he's like a fucking computer science genius and he's making all these crazy weapons, but he like fixes airsoft guns and like.
I feel bad. We kind of unintentionally called out one of the people we like to play with, Zach Reaper.
Hey,
Yeah.
we've all got a little normie still left in us.
I used
you know
to
what
wear a feather on my head.
Yeah.
Well, you're a recovering normie.
I still occasionally, sometimes, have a rubber knife.
I mean, that's within the rule set, you know, that's not.
Yeah.
But
It's
it's
not
still
a piece of PVC or crowbar wrapped in foam and
Yeah.
duct tape from your mom's basement.
Do you know why I still
That's in the
carry a
safety
rubber
brief
knife?
for a reason.
There was one time I played and like somehow I snuck up on Adrian. And it was like, how did
Is he
that happen?
asleep?
No, he was just
Every now and then it happens because I've done it too.
like I snuck up on and I was just like, oh my God, I found him and I'm behind him. And I was like, if I had a knife right now, I would just knife kill him.
Oh,
And that'd be
man.
hilarious because then I can talk shit and staging with him and be like, I got you, you know. But I had to like safety kill him. And it wasn't as cool.
Shoot him.
Also, night games. I did some night games where I actually was able to sneak up on some people and knife kill them, which is awesome at a night game when you're sneaking in, you know, because it's quieter than saying safety kill.
Yeah.
It's not like I planned for it to happen, but
Yeah.
like if it's an option, it's a cool option. I hate carrying it though, because I don't really have anywhere to put it. I don't have a sheath for my rubber knife. I like slip it through like some molly and
Good enough.
yeah, I think it's pretty normie though.
So is it normie to give yourself a call sign? Yeah.
Yes. Giving yourself a
If your
call
friend
sign.
does it, not so much.
It depends. It has to be from a negative interaction.
That's
right?
what I'm saying. Not so much. That one's no asterisk.
Yeah,
But normie, if you give yourself one.
for sure.
In any context, giving yourself a call sign is normie. Think of it. What's the first thing you do when you set up Xbox Live for the first time? You have to give yourself a name.
Thunderblump.
Giving yourself
So good.
giving yourself a name is reserved for noobs.
Yeah, right. Because you're new to. Yeah, I get what you're
You
saying.
have to give yourself an identity,
Yep.
and you don't even know what that is yet. So of course it's gonna like be cringe.
No, mine was epic fail for a long time.
Mine was Ant the Scoozies 55.
My cousin's was period face. Well, that's going to wrap it up for us today. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you enjoyed this, whatever this was.
Hearing about the field renovation.
Yeah, it's raining.
Yeah.
And with that, good night. God bless. We're out.
Bully Grimnir.
Bully Grimner.